I want to get you set up with the latest forecast. It is going to get wet this weekend. Unfortunately, there could be a couple of storms out there as well. Let's track it all together. Here's Futurecast. Early tomorrow morning, we're in decent shape. Got a couple of clouds passing through the area. We'll turn our attention to this fella right here. This cold front, that's the very front that's bringing a decent chance of rain and storms to the area until we can eventually kick it out by Sunday afternoon. This is about 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're still looking at some spotty to scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there that does have the potential of becoming strong. We'll want to track those as early as, let's say, midday tomorrow, all evening long. But the big bulk of the rain, it's still stretched back off towards north central Oklahoma. That slowly works its way our direction, probably not arriving in our neck of the woods until, let's say, Saturday morning for northwest Arkansas early, a little bit later in the day, probably for the River Valley. That northeast southwest orientation of that front is going to mean it does move into northwest Arkansas first. Slowly but surely, that front sags its way all the way into the River Valley. It pretty much stalls out, becoming a stationary front, and as that happens, there's going to be pieces of what's called energy up in the atmosphere, disturbances that travel along it as if it's a railroad track, and that's what keeps on and off chances of rain in the forecast most of your Saturday into your Sunday. This is early in the day Sunday. Decent signal across most of the area for a good soaking rain. That front begins to lift back towards the north as another area of low pressure moves in. That's eventually going to swing us another cold front. That opens up what we call a warm sector on Sunday afternoon. That's when we're going to want to watch for additional chances of severe thunderstorms in advance of that cold front itself. You can see by, let's say, early Sunday afternoon, some of these storms are going to be a little bit stronger out there. We'll watch those closely for some hail, maybe a little bit of wind as well. That front pushes everything out of the area by, let's say, mid to late afternoon, early evening come Sunday. That was the big picture. We've also got some high resolution data that I'd like to show you. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Scattered showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder. Very similar, right? Just looks a little bit more fine-tuned in terms of detail and placement. That continues for some of us, not everybody, through tomorrow evening. You start to see these heavier reds and these pinks and the purples. Those are those thunderstorms that will eventually start to move into the area throughout Saturday morning. This is 11 o'clock. A good soaking rain for a lot of folks up and down I-49, but there are certainly portions of the area, Scott, Johnson, Logan, maybe even parts of Franklin and Sebastian, that it may take a little bit longer for us to get some of those showers to work through the area. Eventually they will. Best odds of rain in that part of the area are going to be Saturday night into Sunday. Severe weather risk for Friday looks like this. Level 2 for hail and wind primarily. Tornado threat's not 0, but it is relatively low. By Saturday, all of us are under that level 2 potential. Again, same story, hail and wind, the primary concerns. Tornado threat not 0, but it is relatively low. By Easter Sunday, we'll push most of that risk to east of 49. Still a lot of us that are going to be in it. We'll watch for those storms to develop along that new cold front. While there are going to be chances of severe weather Friday night, Saturday, and of course Sunday, the bigger concern or the more likely potential, I think, is going to be for the potential for some flooding. That's why we've got a flood watch in effect for everybody tomorrow night through Sunday night. 2 to 4 inches is going to be common for a lot of us, which in of itself isn't necessarily a lot, but this is on average. Now, we get one of those stronger cells to start training over the same area. We could exceed this in some localized areas, 1 to 2 inches a little bit further towards the south and east. Your 7-day forecast shows a 30% chance of rain tomorrow, 81 the high temperature. Saturday probably going to be a wet and potentially stormy day for a lot of us. That keeps our temperatures a little bit cooler, 70% chance as well on Sunday. We do get a bit of a break by Monday and Tuesday of next week before that more active weather pattern is set to return the middle part of next week. 85 degrees tomorrow, so it's going to be a warm day in the River Valley. Chances of rain at the earliest in the afternoon, more likely in the evening hours. I have dropped portions of the River Valley down to a 60% chance on Saturday. Look, I think it's going to rain and it's going to storm on Saturday, but maybe not all day. That's the good news for us. That front is going to really dictate where that rain sets up. All of the rain, the heavy rain, will be focused exactly where that front ends up. So given that it's moving really slow into the River Valley, I think that may give us a little bit of wiggle room early in the morning. If it speeds up, then all bets are off, right? Northwest Arkansas, they're going to see the rain initially.
Slowing is more flash flooding.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Okay. All right, Scott, thanks.